In progress.
Welcome everyone to the June 22nd meeting of the Tompkins County Health and Human Services Committee. Are there any changes to the agenda? No changes to the agenda. All right. Public comment, I don't see anybody. We haven't heard of anybody. Is that true, Taylor? Okay. Then chair's report. I do have a chair's report. I have several things to report. First of all, Whole Health will not be with us today. They're having an all-staff meeting at this time, and since this was rescheduled on our part, they could not change theirs, which is understandable. So nobody from Whole Health will be here today. I received some information from and about our early intervention program through our Whole Health department, and so let me just read this information that I got. Governor Hochul did not approve the 11% pay increase for early intervention therapists in her current budget. Early intervention is in crisis, with many counties having large wait lists for services for children birth to age 3. Tompkins County is experiencing this crisis with kids on wait lists for speech therapy, teachers and social workers in early intervention and preschool special education services. We currently have lost our last social worker for this program, this is Tompkins County, who stated she is tired of not getting paid for the work that she does. So I am going to be attending a Zoom meeting tomorrow. Let me just read you the description of this meeting. It's an open meeting for the public, parents, providers of children's services, and other interested parties to discuss the early intervention program in Cayuga, Chemung, Livingston, Ontario, Schuyler, Seneca, Steuben, Tioga, Tompkins, Wayne, and Yates counties. So we've been hearing about this crisis for a while. It's been building over several years. It sounds like it's at a really bad point right now, and don't know exactly what we can do about it. It really seems to be centered as a state problem, that they're not, the problem is on their end apparently. So anyway, I will go to this meeting, I will learn more, and I will report as I can. The Human Services Coalition has completed its agency review process, almost. The committee that is tasked with doing this through the Human Services Coalition has forwarded their recommendation to the full Human Services Coalition Board, which meets tomorrow. I'm on that board, and I can forward the recommendations to anyone here that wants to see them after tomorrow. If approved by the Human Services Coalition Board, the recommendations then come back to the county legislature in the fall during our budget season. Here's a couple of quick facts. We may have heard some of this already from when we had the presentation, but maybe not all of it. For the 2024 funding cycle, the overall county-city target for agencies is $1.2 million, which is an increase of $67,000 over last year, or a 6% increase. There are 20 agencies on the list of recommendations. New on the list this year are GIAC, and the Ultimate Reentry Opportunity, the URO. And I also think that all of the OAR programs, the Opportunities, Alternatives, Resources, they will be under one umbrella this year, and they will all go through the Human Services Coalition. In the past, some of them have come here and some of them have not. And I think that includes the Sunflower House, which last year came here. And then finally, I wanted a quick report on the opioid task force. They are moving along with their work. As of a week ago, which is when they issued a little update, they had 600 community responses about asking the public how they should direct the $700,000 in funding that's available. And at that time, they had only had one application from an organization to provide services, but the deadline for that is still another week away. So we'll get a report when it's all done and said and done. So those are my chair's reports. Is there any questions or comments about those? Okay, great. Okay, next up, we have Lisa Monroe from the Office for the Aging. I assume Lisa's here. Hi, Lisa. You have one resolution, budget adjustment, Tompkins County Office for the Aging, long-term care ombudsman program. Is there anybody that wants to move that? Randy moves, Travis seconds. Lisa, is there anything you'd like to say about that? Yeah. Okay. Are there any questions or comments from legislators about this resolution? Lisa Monroe, are you with us? Okay, well, let's go ahead and have a vote then, if we're ready to vote. All in favor? That is unanimous. Okay, thank you. Hi, Lisa.
I'm having major technical difficulties. I can't see you guys and unmute myself, so.
No problem.
Yeah, so thank you for, I mean, that was just a budget adjustment and acceptance of the grant to use those funds, so thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anything else that you would like to report from your office?
The only thing I wanted to mention is July 1st, we will be starting our senior farmers market nutrition program. We'll have a $25 booklets that we give out to income eligible people 60 plus. So that'll be starting July 1st.
Great, thank you. Any questions or comments for Lisa? All right, thank you, Lisa.
Thanks.
Next up are any other department updates we have. So let's see, how about J.R. Claiborne, Veteran Services?
There we go. All right, can you hear me all right?
We can.
Okay, making sure the technological gremlins aren't my way too. Good afternoon, everybody. Just for our department, the last of the month was kind of busy for Memorial Day. Thanks to you and your colleagues on the legislature, we did a proclamation for Memorial Day. I got that sent out to our local veteran service organizations post. Also this year, have continued the tradition of providing flags that our veteran service organizations distribute throughout the county to mark the graves of veterans at cemeteries around the county. Also, I launched a redesign of my listserv, my department's listserv, for Memorial Day issue. So that was kind of a good success. Thank you to Dominic in Communications for helping me with that and a few last minute technical glitches I had to deal with. Also, I was the speaker for the Sons of Union Civil War Soldiers at their Memorial Day event on the Tuesday the 30th, which they recognize that as the original Memorial Day event. And then also, again, thanks to you all, presented a proclamation for Women Veterans Recognition Day, which was this month, and also was able to not only name the folks that we have, our women veterans that we have in leadership, to include them in the proclamation, but also presented each of them with a copy of the resolution, of the proclamation. And then lastly, was able to, because of Juneteenth, Juneteenth was of course Monday, but the holiday was celebrated from throughout the weekend. So I was able to make sure there were flags that adorn the monument that is the Civil War United States Colored Troops monument that's next door to St. James AME Zion. So there are flags there. Also updated my department's website to both reflect the Women Veterans Recognition Day and for Juneteenth. And then kind of dovetailing on Lisa's announcement, my department will have what's called Fresh Connect checks, which are similar to the farmers market coupons, and they'll be ready for distribution to our local veterans community starting next month.
Thank you. Questions or comments for JR? Randy.
Hello, JR. I'm not sure you heard the conversation in our facilities and infrastructure meeting, but we talked about the monuments in DeWitt Park and the question of ownership. And I don't think we found out exactly what that is yet, but I know there's an organization that was focused on continuing to clean those up. Is that happening, or do you know anything about that?
To my knowledge, I did hear the meeting. I watched it through Zoom. I believe I mentioned to some folks earlier this year when the monument was vandalized a few months ago. I had connected the Vietnam Veterans of America, who usually try to take charge of keeping the monuments clean that area cleaned up along with the city. And I connected them with probation department to begin a partnership with them on helping keep the park cleaned up. So those are things that are already in motion. But as far as any new developments, I don't know yet. I'm still have my ears to the ground with that one. And also I heard the discussion about ownership, and I'm familiar with the agreement that it belongs to the church, but it's under the city's the maintenance is under the city's agreement. And to my knowledge, I think Arel had mentioned that, that the county did not have any responsibilities, I believe, there for maintenance, but there was a question about the monument, and I've not heard anything new on that yet.
Thank you.
Okay. I will keep checking, though.
So I know I've asked Katrina to see if she could find anything in the county's records, and I've also inquired with our county historian as well, if there's anything on record in terms of transfer of ownership. So far, we haven't come up with anything. It's not to say that, you know, we won't try to assist and collaborate where we can, but it would be interesting to find out if we do actually own those monuments.
In Newfield, there were World War I and World War II plaques and monuments that got damaged by an accident 20-some years ago, or maybe longer. And they found one of them, and the town has taken ownership of that. And through the grant, and through public funds and through ARPA funds from Newfield, as well as a grant from the capital program through the county for parks programs, the town is redoing the entire area around the covered bridge as well as stairs, and putting a World War I and World War II plaque, which they've ordered, with all the names of the people on there, and the town's taking ownership of that. So hopefully that's done. When it's done, JR, I'll let you know. So.
Yeah, thank you. That'll be good to hear about.
Anything else for JR Veteran Services? All right, thank you, JR. Next up is Kit Kephart, Department of Social Services.
Hi, everybody. We are having some success finally with making some hires. So thanks to everybody who has helped us with that by talking up those positions. We don't have all of our positions filled, but we're getting there. Secondarily, we are seeing. This is just kind of a program note. We are seeing, as we have for a while, just an increase in need in our clients. The complexity of our cases continue to increase. The complexity of needs that clients have continue to increase. And one of the ways that we're seeing that is in increased people that need representative payees through our Adult Protective Services Division. Some of this can be explained through our increase in homelessness, but some of this also is our aging population. It has to do with the fact that post-pandemic, we continue to see increased needs around mental health and around substance addiction. So we are seeing that. That also is leading to an increase. It's a small increase right now, but we anticipate that it's going to continue to grow, an increase in the number of guardians.
Kid, you have frozen up. All right, we will come back to you when you are able to come back to us. All right, how about County Youth Services, Kate Shanks Booth?
Hello, everyone. Sorry, I had to find my mute button. Yeah, so we've been busy since our last meeting. I just wanted to provide you guys an update on the project assistant. Marion Genspar she wrapped up her first round of interviews with Dryden. She is currently working with the folks out in Groton, and then we'll begin her interview and sort of research section into countywide services in the city and the town of Ithaca in the next couple weeks. I figured it would be easier to kind of start there in the summer with school districts being out and those sort of things, and then make our way through the rest of the county. Hopefully we will have tentatively have a first draft of our report for you guys in the fall. So she'll be here to present that. So that is exciting. I want to keep you posted. In June, on June 8th, I was able to be the keynote speaker for Family and Children's, their annual event, which was really great. I was able to highlight some of the work that our department does with open doors for the runaway and homeless youth. So that was exciting. Mike Sigler and Rich Don were there. So it was good to see them, and they were very complimentary, so that was nice. Also, the same evening, we did provide a free screening of Anxious Nation. We had about 30 folks show, a little smaller than we had hoped for, but it was during the air quality problem that we were having, the haze, so there were lots of people who I think stayed in, but we had a really good conversation afterwards and continue to really encourage people to check that out on Amazon Prime or on Apple TV. It is really a great documentary, done really well. And then on the 14th, we were able to provide our local municipal youth service system, the commissions and community councils we work with across the county. We did a CSEC, the Commercial Sexual Exploitation of Children, Safe Harbor training for those folks with Lynn Stack at the Advocacy Center. We continue to work on our budgets, and we're getting ready and ramping up to help the municipalities get ready to do their commissions, their commission budgets, and the rec partnership as well. So just the time of the year, so.
Thank you, Kate. Are there questions or comments for Kate? Randy?
Yeah, I did attend that Anxious Nation movie, and our kids are anxious. Like, maybe that's a good way to put it, right? I'm not sure. It was well done. The discussion about, all these things that our children are thinking about is a lot more than when I grew up. So I think that's part of the issue there. There's so many pressures on them from so many angles, and they talked about social media and all those kinds of things, how that's part of the problem. But the problem really began before COVID, and it's just gotten worse, and they talked about that. So Kate, thank you for arranging that. Thank you.
Absolutely, it was our pleasure.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Kate. Hello, Kit. Welcome back. Shall we try again?
Sorry about that. I got kicked off the VPN. Not sure why. Don't know what I did. So I was pretty much done. I just wanted to kind of note that change, that trending change that we're seeing around increased need of adults who fall into an adult protective kind of category. So.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments for Kit? All right, I hope your hiring successes continue.
Thank you.
All right, how about Ken Clark, Office of Human Rights?
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Just wanted to share some highlights of our last month. On May 22nd, we hosted a program during Asian American Pacific Islanders Month on protecting AAPI communities from hate and violence. Our speaker was Eugenia O, New York City Regional Director of the Asian American Foundation, gave a great presentation in a historical context in which to understand the current challenges facing the AAPI community and strategies to address these issues. On the same day, I attended the State Division of Human Rights' first Southern Tier Hate and Bias Prevention Regional Council meeting. This was a meeting that was a spinoff of the New York United Summit in New York City that the State Division organized, which I attended on May 10th, and I reported about the last time I was with you, which is focused on combating hate and violence in the Southern Tier region in particular. And so one of the things we began to talk about was organizing a series of open forums throughout the region with guest speakers and strong facilitators, and to work on beginning to identify goals for prevention and determining our target audiences and defining what we want to accomplish with this. And so, and as well as the location of our first event. So we hope to launch that first event sometime in the fall. So we have some other planning meetings that are ahead of us between now and then to move forward on this. Civic Engagement Coalition, OHR, and the Human Rights Commission has been convening for the last year. Was a co-sponsor of the Tompkins County League of Voters Candidates Forum on June the 8th, which was held at GIAC. We had 11 Democratic candidates running for the available seats. It was an audience that drew probably close to 100 people. There were no Republican candidates in the field, so it was all Democratic field. All the candidates had a chance to speak to the general audience, and then we went into breakout rooms for each of the 5 districts where candidates are running. I served as a moderator for one of the 5 wards, and Ward 3, that is, in a moderated session involving candidates Nathan Sitaraman and David Shapiro. On June 14th, we held a Pride Month event co-sponsored with the Downtown Ithaca Alliance, which showed a documentary on Lorraine Hansberry, a significant playwright and activist of the Civil Rights era. Some of you may know her from her most well-known play, A Raisin in the Sun. We had about 30 people to come out on a rainy night to Cinemapolis to join us, and afterwards we had a talkback session that was facilitated by Professor Samantha Shepard in the Performing and Media Arts Department at Cornell. Also wanted to announce that we have posted for our office's Program and Outreach Assistant vacancy. It will be a 20-hour position. Well, the posting began on June the 15th and will run through July 15th, after which we will begin the process of hopefully identifying a successful candidate. Last Friday, we had a very good city-county Juneteenth event at Southside, which involved a career fair featuring local employers, including the county, a Black Business Expo for the 2nd straight year, and a really brilliant keynote address by Sean Eversley Bradwell as the keynote speaker for that event. We met as a committee this morning to assess how things went and what things we needed to show up, and began to lay the groundwork for planning for next year. Last thing is, on Monday, this coming Monday, OHR and the State Division will be hosting a fair housing event on June the 26th at 6:30 p.m., also at Southside, which will be focused on fair housing protections under the law of housing discrimination, eviction prevention, and a path to home ownership. I will be leaving this meeting at 3 for a prep session with the State Division to just to finish out last minute details prior to Monday's event. So that's it from me.
Sounds like you and your office have been quite busy. Thank you for
Quite.
Yeah, thank you for telling us about all this. Any questions or comments for Ken? Okay, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Next up, Cindy Wilcox, Human Services Coalition.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Just a couple of activities to note for HSC. We recently had a Homeless and Housing Task Force meeting. Homeless and Housing Task Force is the educational arm of the Continuum of Care, or the COC. All of them are recorded. If anyone is interested in any of the programmatic aspects, it's free and open to the public. We're really trying to step up our kind of community education around what's happening in the community. And we had a great presentation from Tompkins County Whole Health at our June 5th meeting, the Community Health Worker Program, and STEP, who offered a Safe Sharps handling training program, and a Harm Reduction 101 presentation. And the COC also hosted a training for all of the membership agencies at their meeting the same week. which was a really comprehensive program on de-escalation that was provided by Family and Children's Services, which was great. It was very well attended. Just a fun highlight, our 211 information referral program is participating in a pilot project with 9 other communities. It's called the ITN Rider Platform, and it basically is looking to provide kind of better ride booking and data collection in support of our partnership with FISH, which is Friends in Service Helping, which is our volunteer medical transportation program. So we're excited about that pilot, see what comes out of it. We are at the end of our county funding review process, or well, I won't say the end, we're in the middle, but we actually make our recommendations to our full board of directors tomorrow morning. And that is all from us.
Thank you, Cindy. Any questions or comments? Human Services Coalition. Randy.
Yes, thank you, Cindy. Dan mentioned a little bit about your meeting tomorrow, and there were 2 new organizations that are be part of that, which is great. Overall, the ones that are currently, that were in priorly, what, how much of an increase would they asking for, roughly?
Sorry, Randy, of the current,
the ones
not
that,
new
of the
ones?
2 that were not added, what percentage of funds did they ask for an increase of? So your current budget was $1 million something, and I think it's gonna, you're asking for a total of 66,000 over last year. But so if you remove the 2 organizations that are gonna be new, what were the request for the other people? What's their percentage increase request? If I asked that correctly.
I'm not quite sure I still understand the question. I'm sorry, Randy.
So if you remove GIAC, what was the other one?
URO, yeah.
You are, okay. So
URO. Well, right. URO actually is not new. It just was kind of moved into the review process.
So my question is, the total request is about 6% more than last year, right? Okay.
Yes.
So what, and of course, there's new organizations, so they're going to be getting some of that 6%, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So what, the other ones, what percentage increase are they expecting or asking for?
Oh, I see. Well, so the OAR, kind of OAR comes with, I'm not going to say this right, it kind of is a kind of separate from they have their own kind of budget, had their own budget line in the county budget process, so they are kind of calculated a little bit separately. But kind of overall, it varied among organizations. Some organizations, it depended on their request. Some organizations requested increases, some requested kind of level funding from last year. So some requested some one-time funds and some kind of pilot projects. So I would, I don't know what, kind of taking out the OAR piece, I don't know exactly what the percentage is overall, but individually, I think it varied. The message this year, because we knew that we had a tight budget this year, and I think a lot of the organizations kind of heard that message. They all, we always say, ask what you need. We don't ask for what you need. And I think they did. But it kind of varies per organization. So some didn't ask for increases at all.
So Dan, I imagine once you go through that, you'll kind of show us how that ended up.
Yeah, I'll send you the list tomorrow.
I don't know how to say this well, so I'm not trying to alienate anyone. And this isn't for you, Cindy, by the way. The message that the legislature is telling people is that we have no money and we can't afford to support these organizations that are very important, and the need is higher, in my opinion. So if that's the message you were provided, I guess that's where we are. I just don't agree with it. So. The point is, we have a lot more money than we're on this course of we don't have money. We're gonna increase our reserves by another 10 million this year, and we're telling people we don't have money. And we've got all this need, all these people saying all these things. We have a crisis with our children. We have mental health issues. We have homelessness, all these things. And we're deciding, well, you know what, guys, it's a tough year. And I'll bet you that message has been given year after year after year that we're in these tough years. So I just don't understand how we can just continue down this path. And I apologize if I've alienated anybody.
Randy, I would just mention that I looked through the recommendations that came out of the committee. There were 20 organizations. For each one, there's a little bit of a budget and maybe a half a page of a quarter page, third of a page of explanation. So I read through it once kind of quickly. And it's my sense that most of as far as I could remember, none of the organizations got cut. Most of them, many of them asked for the same amount they got last year, and they're getting it. And then, quite a few asked for an increase, and it seemed like almost everyone that asked for an increase got an increase, maybe not quite as big as they wanted. That's just my general sense of that document. It felt pretty good to me personally. It felt like people were kind of restrained in their requests and everybody got something. But you'll take a look at it tomorrow. You'll see it and you can make your own judgments on it. Amanda.
Yeah, I just want to clarify that all these organizations are getting money. Like, nobody is saying that we're denying money to, all of these folks who have gone through this process. So if anyone's listening, or, we're not denying the Human Services Coalition or the agency's money. There's maybe just not as much as some folks would want to give out.
Also,
Yes.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Cindy.
And I do want to reiterate, we always tell them to ask for what they need.
And then I think we gave a directive as a 2% increase in what we would be allocating overall. Yeah, so that was another part of the report. I mean, the Human Services Coalition has already reported on this, but it takes a while to sink in. I had to read it again. And it's a formula that we, the county, provide, 2/3 of the money roughly, and the city provides the other third. The city's money amount is based on their sales tax, which varies year to year, and then ours is a different formula. So there's also that too, kind of like a shifting number that is just one factor in this whole thing. Any other comments about any of this? Okay, great. Well, thank you, Cindy. All right. Next up, advisory board appointments. Who did I miss? Oh, I missed the county administrator's report. I'm sorry. So too many Lisas. No, you didn't seem bothered by it. Okay, Lisa,
Actually,
you're on.
I think you caught my subliminal vibe, which is that I have no report today. So.
All right, any questions for Lisa anyway? All right. Thank you for keeping me on task, Amanda.
I tried, yeah.
I do appreciate it, for real. Okay, advisory board appointments. We've got 3 appointments. We have Wala Maharam Horan. This is all to the Developmental Disability Subcommittee. And then also Sally McConnell Jeanette and Cassidy Stanley. Can somebody move these appointments, please? Travis moves. Amanda seconds. Any discussion? Okay, let's have a vote then. All in favor?
He's not a comedian.
Oh,
I don't think.
sorry. Well, okay, that was unanimous. I don't know what's going on. All right, next up then, minutes approval from the May 15th meeting. Does somebody like to do that? Randy's going to move it. Susan's going to second it. Questions or comments? Okay, let's have a vote then. All in favor? Mike, what's your vote? It's unanimous. Thank you. Comments from committee members, liaison assignment reports. Does anybody have anything they would like to mention or talk about?
On the 29th of June, next Thursday, Cornell Dining is coming down to the Greater Ithaca Activity Center, GAC, to do a job fair. It's not your typical job fair. People come in, they learn about all the openings at Cornell Dining, they fill out an application, they get interviewed on the spot, and they're actually given jobs on the spot. This is our third annual one. The first two that we did resulted in over 60 community members getting jobs up at Cornell. The starting rate for full-time positions this year is $19. They are union jobs. It's a great opportunity. So all you have to do is show up at GEC next Thursday, anytime from 9 to 4. And if you're interested in the job, chances are you will walk out with a job.
Seriously, I've considered that as a retirement job, working up there. That could be fun. Yeah. Good food. I hope that holds in 2.5 years. All right. Any other comments from committee members or liaison assignments? Randy?
Yeah, at the Peak Committee today, we had a presentation from the food bank. It was from the Panther Food Bank, and they talked about, and they gave a good presentation about all the entities that are providing foods. There's 25 of them, and Ann recommended that information go to this committee as well. They talked that 3 of those locations are currently out of funds for their budget year. And of course, they work with, I think, the HSC on their, and Lisa explained how that works. So I just wanted to share that with you, that they're trying to look at it as a bigger issue and trying to have a single message, I think, of all the 25. And their biggest issues are they just don't have any people. It's all volunteers running these programs primarily. And their biggest issue is administrative. You know, they've got volunteers coming to help with the food process, but the administration of that is the challenge.
That's a scary fact that 3 of these organizations are out of funds not even halfway through the year. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Reports. Okay, any other business today? Our next meeting is scheduled for July 17th, and if there's nothing else, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.